They are looking into that as a possible cause.
Headlines reveal a resurgence in Christianity and faith among Gen Z. In fact, research shows a growing hunger among young Americans for truth, belonging, and clarity in a confusing world. Pastor and best-selling author J.D. Greear has a message for today's church in his new book, Everyday Revolutionary: How to Transcend the Culture War and Transform the World. And joining us now to discuss is J.D. Greear. Good morning to you, sir. Welcome to the National News Desk. Good to see you.
Jen, thank you for having me on.
This new generation of Gen Zers, they're more open to Christianity. Why is that? What are they searching for?
Yeah, I think what you're seeing is that Gen Alpha, Gen Z, they're recognizing that the foundation that they've been told is the foundation of the world, the secular progressivism, that it's actually crumbling. You know, we talk sometimes about a leap of faith to Jesus, but what we realize is that the cliff that we're standing on is itself breaking up under their feet. And so in the midst of that, they're looking for something that actually gives clarity, where a lot of the so-called woke ideology has left them feeling foundationless and groundless.
In a world where you got TikTok and you've got woke ideology, as you mentioned, and all these competing voices, how can the church meet this generation with clarity?
Yeah, I want to be clear that what the church offers, what the gospel offers, is something more than just another side in the culture war. Jesus's glory was that he was filled with grace and truth, not just one or the other. Grace without truth, that's what leads you to the kind of the confusion of whether it's transgenderism or woke ideology. Truth without grace, well, that leads to a soulless conservatism. What Jesus offers is different. It's something that is, yes, filled with truth, but also in a way that embraces people and loves them where they are, as they are, and brings them in as neighbors and friends.
In your book, you talk about living against the world, but for the world. So what are some practical ways everyday believers can do that?
Yeah, one of the foundations, one of the examples I try to build on in the book is the example of Daniel in the Old Testament, because here you got a guy who was so truthful that he gets thrown in the lion's den, yet he's so beloved by the king who threw him there that the king stands outside the lion's den all night weeping, hoping that, against hope, that he'll make it through the night. The question is, how do we become like that in our communities? And what do I identify, with the help of the New Testament, is 5 different practices that Christians can do every single day, just in their secular jobs, just in their regular jobs, and how they love their neighbors and how they embrace their neighbors, that will make us like that. That's the everyday revolutionary idea, is that whether you're a teacher of third graders or whether you are the CFO of a multinational conglomerate, there are things that following Jesus means, not just in the church, but in the world, as you're the neighbor and friend to the community that he wants you to be.
You said 5 things. What are the 5?
You go in a way that is creation fulfilling, it is excellence pursuing, holiness reflecting, redemption displaying, and mission advancing.
All right, and let's talk about the role of courage, because you say that is the missing virtue in today's church, especially for this next generation of leaders.
Yeah, courage, it's Aristotle was the one that first said it, that without courage, none of the other virtues actually matter. And I think this is a time where there's going to have to be courage to speak, gospel truth, Jesus's truth, love for our neighbors in really everything, truth about moral issues. Jesus's cousin, John the Baptist, rebuked King Herod for his sexual sin, and he lost his head because of it. Jesus didn't say, well, you were meddling in politics. What he said was, that's the greatest prophet ever to live. And that's the kind of courage that's going to take this generation to be Christ's representatives now.
Yeah, one of the greatest things I ever heard was that Jesus was 100% grace and 100% truth.
That's right. Full of both.
Full of both. The book is titled Everyday Revolutionary: How to Transcend the Culture War and Transform the World. J.D. Greear, thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.